Tonight we are, for one, doing things different with the chairs. So we're just trying some different stuff out. So if you come in, you're like, "What happened to the chairs?" Just go with it. Change is good. We're trying some new things. So just go with it. Pick a good spot and have a good time. So in your seat when you sat down, thanks to Paige and Kaylee, you have connection cards and a bulletin. We're doing something a little bit different with the bulletin tonight. I made a little area at the bottom where you can just take notes. And there's only going to be 2 points tonight, so the rest is up to you to take whatever notes you feel are important. Hopefully you'll think everything I say is important and you'll need more room than that, but that's a good start for some area to take notes. So tonight we're wrapping up our series called Firsts. And we started this series in January because these are the things that we think you should do first, things that are important, things that you should put first in your life. So Chesney kicked it off by talking about how to put God first in your life, the beginning of the week, the day, the month, the year, all of that, how to put God first. And then I came up here and talked about character and integrity, because your character and your integrity is something you need to put first because nobody else is watching out for your character and integrity. You have to do that. It has to be a first priority for you to protect your character and your integrity. And then Chris and Stacia came up here and talked about making an impact and why that needs to be important. And that's one of the things you need to strive to make important. One of the first things you need to work on is, how do I make an impact? And then last week, Chandler came up here and talked about relationships and friendships and why that needs to be a first priority for you in order for you to be, have a good life. So tonight, if you missed any of those, by the way, you can watch them on YouTube. You can just type in 155, 1 and then 50 and then 5 in YouTube, and you'll find the messages. You can watch them if you missed them. They're all about 30 minutes, so if you didn't watch them, I challenge you to go home and watch them. So tonight, who here wants to be successful someday? Raise your hand. At something, at anything. It doesn't have to be like, I want to be successful in my career. You may want to be a successful mom, a successful singer, a successful mathematician. Whatever it is you want to be successful at, that's what we're going to talk about tonight. How do you be successful? And like I said, I'm trying to make it really easy for you tonight. There's only 2 fill-ins you have to really worry about. And so, because I want to make it as simple as you can, so you go home and you remember, it's very easy to be successful. If I do these 2 things, I can be successful. So, how do we become successful? Well, number 1 on your outline is set goals. You need to set goals in order to be successful. And let me put it this way. If you don't set goals in life, life will just kind of happen to you. And things will just happen to you, and you will have no effect on what's happening around you. Life will just happen to you, and one day you'll just wake up and you'll be 40-something and be like, what happened? I thought I was going to do some stuff, but I never made any goals, so I never did it. So it's very important that you put goals out there. Today we're celebrating my wife's birthday, which is awesome. Tawny, happy birthday, yeah. Tawny and I started dating 25 years ago. And so last night I was kind of laughing and reminiscing. It's like, wow, that's crazy how much of our life has changed in 25 years. But I'm lucky because we set goals together in life, and we were able to accomplish a lot of goals because we set them. If not, we may just still be kind of drifting through life and like, I don't really have a plan. And anybody met one of those people that don't really have a plan and they're just kind of drift? Maybe you have that crazy uncle or something that's just like always sleeping on your couch, and you're like, how come that guy never has a life? So you got to make sure you set goals. And so I have to think about, maybe where would I be without goals and all that. So it's funny how as you age, your goals change. And so maybe right now your goal is, I need to graduate high school. That's like my number 1 goal, right? If I can get through high school, everything's fine. And so I'm kind of thinking back, kind of like how my life was maybe in high school, and it was like, probably my first priority was goal. It's like, okay, I need to find a girlfriend because I'm a guy, I'm in high school, I probably need a girlfriend. That's my goal, is find a girlfriend. And so I had a couple girlfriends, and then I had to redefine my goal. I'm like, okay, I need a girlfriend that's not crazy. Okay, so I had to narrow the scope of my goal a little bit because maybe the goal was a little too broad. It's like, okay, so you have to narrow it down a little bit. So then I was like, okay, so then my goal is I need to graduate high school. And I kind of checked that off the box, okay, I finished that. And then I'm like, well, now what? Well, my goal is to go to college. So where? I don't know. Well, I didn't plan because I'm in high school and I'm dumb. And so I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going to the junior college because that's my only option at this point. So I'm going to the junior college. Then I'm like, okay, I'm going to get a degree. In what? I don't know. Darn, okay, I need a goal. What is that goal? So kind of set a goal. Okay, I'm going to do that. And then I'm like, well, this Tawny chick, she's super awesome. So I'm going to get married. That's my next goal. So I'm going to get married to Tawny. And then I'm like, okay, I need to get a degree eventually. And so after changing majors, I don't know how many times, a lot, never be afraid to just try everything the school has to offer. I finally got a degree, then I'm like, my next goal is to get a job. I didn't know what that meant other than like I wanted to make a bunch of money, so I guess I need the most highest paying job I can find because I guess that's what success looks like. That's wrong, by the way. I found out that the hard way. So, get a job and then, have kids, and then what? So all through your life, you'll have these goals that'll just kind of be things that are kind of happening in the horizon, but if you don't plan for those further out and be very specific about what those are, life will kind of just happen to you because, my goals were so vague. It's like, I want to go to college, but I have no idea where because I don't know what I want to do with my life and I don't know whatever I'm going to study. And so my goal was way too vague. I needed to get very narrow on my goal and then kind of figure it out from there. So setting goals, you got to be really careful about it. So there's this cool little acrostic, and since we're in church, we use acrostics all the time. If you don't know what an acrostic is, you're about to see one on the screen. So this is a good way to be careful about setting your goals. So the S stands for specific. I'm just going to fill in on there, and if you want to take notes, you can. Specific. Your goals need to be very specific. I'm going to do this exact thing. So let's go with one that everybody kind of talks about, maybe not your age, but old people like me, is I'm going to lose weight, right? That's like the most popular New Year's resolution ever. My goal is to lose weight. That is the most vague goal of all time. I'm going to lose weight because it's not specific at all. You need to be very specific of, I'm going to lose 5 pounds by this date or whatever that may be. The next one is measurable. Your goal needs to be measurable. How do you know if you've accomplished your goal if you can't measure it, right? So if I say I'm going to lose 5 pounds, and then even if I say I'm going to lose 5 pounds by next month, I'm going to lose 5 pounds by next month. And I tell Joel, I said, I'm going to lose 5 pounds by next month. And a month later, Joel comes up to me, he's like, well, did you lose 5 pounds? I'm like, well, I don't know, let's go look. So I get on the scale, I'm like, well, I weigh 185. He goes, well, what did you weigh before? Well, I don't know. I never checked before. So it's not measurable, right? Because I didn't know where I was, so I didn't know where I'm going. And so it has to be measurable. It needs to be something specific that is measurable. The next one is it needs to be attainable. Attainable. Make it realistic. Make it, and that's really number R is realistic. It needs to be something attainable, realistic that you can actually do. I shouldn't set a goal that I'm going to weigh 125 pounds by the end of the month. Because today's the end of the month. And I couldn't get down to 125 pounds even if I cut off both my legs. So it has to be something attainable and realistic if you're going to set a goal. Don't set a goal, I'm going to marry a millionaire. That's probably not a realistic goal in life, right? You probably need to be a little more specific, attainable, measurable, all that. And the T is for timely. You need to set time limits on what your goals are. You need to know, I'm going to do this by when. You need to have that. And it probably needs to be something in the somewhat near future, right? It's fine to go, I'm going to retire by the time I'm 50. Well, that's a great long-term goal, but you probably need to set about 50 goals leading up to that that's going to get you to that goal. So be timely about your goals so that you understand, when you're going to get them done, and it's something you can get done somewhat in the near future. So 7 areas for goals, and these are some areas in your life if you're like, okay, I need goals, great, Brandon, but what kind of goals do I need? I'm going to give you a couple of examples of goals that I think would be good and goals that I'm using right now. So the first one is you need goals for your career. And for you right now, this could be school. So maybe your goal is, last year, I had a B average, perfect. I never got a C, I never got an A. This year, I'm gonna get an A. In one class, I'm gonna get an A. That's a career type goal, a specific goal. Or maybe it's, I'm gonna apply for a job, or I'm going to, look into colleges so I know what to do for a career. Whatever that career thing is. For me, right now, mine is, I'm in a great job that I love, but man, I'd love to get promoted to kind of whatever that next level is. So I have to do whatever it takes to get promoted to that next level. So financial is the next type of goal you might need to have. And I know this is difficult also because you're not making a ton of money, but think of it this way is maybe your goal is, mixed in with your career goal, I need to find a job that will allow me to make enough money that I can save up $1,000 for a car, next year. Whatever that is, what are your financial goals in life? I really have kind of 2 that I kind of work on right now. One is to be debt free. And that's just kind of from this Dave Ramsey thing. I found life is much easier if I don't owe credit card companies and everybody a bunch of money. So one of my goals is to be and remain and stay and get and all that debt free. And then the other one I work on is to try to increase my giving every year, because I found that I love giving to the church and to charities and all that other stuff. So how do I increase my giving every year? Speaking of that, in 2 weeks when we come back from our break, we are going to start a new campaign called Stupid. I'm totally qualified to teach that campaign. It's going to be based on life experience. So it's going to be called Stupid, but it's based around a campaign we're doing downstairs called the I Will campaign. And it's going to be all about generosity and what that means and what that looks like. And I'm going to be challenging you guys on some generosity and financial type stuff. So get your mind ready for that. The next area for a goal would be a spiritual goal. What is your spiritual goal? Maybe it's to come to youth every Sunday night. That's a great place to start. I'm not going to miss a single Sunday, or I'm only going to miss one Sunday a month, because maybe, you're not in control. Your parents are like, sometimes you got to go to that family dinner or whatever. So it's like, my goal is to be at youth 3 weeks out of the 4 every single month. Or my personal goal for spiritual growth this year is to read the Bible 5 days a week. Now you're going to be like, well, that's pretty dumb, because you should be reading it every day, Brandon. In fact, one of your next steps later tonight is going to be to read the Bible every day. But what I've discovered is that I fail at that goal every single year. And so I had to set a more realistic, attainable goal for myself, which is read the Bible 5 days a week. Because every once in a while, something's going to happen and I'm not going to read the Bible. So I've set a realistic, attainable goal for myself this year to read the Bible at least 5 days a week. So that's a great spiritual type goal. Next one, you need some physical goals. You don't want to grow up and be old and fat and all that other stuff. So what are some physical goals for you? Maybe it's as simple as, I'm going to get out of bed when the alarm actually goes off. Maybe that's a physical goal because your body just doesn't want you to get out of bed. Maybe that's a good physical goal. Maybe you're into health and stuff. And you're like, I want to run a 5K in under 20 minutes, or, I want to deadlift 450 pounds, or I want to bench press this, or I want to do a pull-up unassisted for one time in my life, or whatever that may be, right? For me right now, one of my physical goals that I'm working on is I want to do 100 push-ups without stopping. That's something I feel like I can accomplish. It's realistic, it's attainable. I'm at like 60 or 65 right now I can get through before my arms, and really my brain gives up before my arms does. But I think I can get to 100, so that's my physical goal this year. Next goal, intellectual goals. Intellectual goals. One of my intellectual goals this year is to read 12 nonfiction books this year. Some of you can read 12 nonfiction books before we leave tonight. I understand that. Some of you are awesome readers. I am a terribly slow reader. I have to reread pages all the time. I don't comprehend very well. I probably have dyslexia or something. I don't know, but I'm a slow reader. So one a month is a good goal for me. I was able to do it last year, so I haven't raised the bar any because I'm good with average on this one. But set a goal for intellectually. What do you want to do? And maybe this goes back to your grades again. Maybe intellectually it's like, I know I'm better at math than this. I'm going to give it a B this time instead of a C, whatever that is. Next is a family goal. I know you maybe not, that's a great, maybe you don't care about your family a whole bunch right now, but someday you will. What are some family goals for you? What is something that you can do with your family that would be a kind of a cool goal? Maybe it's we're going to play Monopoly one day a month, or we're going to sit on the couch together and not look at our electronic devices, or maybe you're going to have one family meal a week or a month, right? Maybe there's something like that's possible. Maybe you're not having that. Maybe it's as simple as telling your parents, it would be awesome if our whole family sat down together at a meal once a week. Can we try to figure that out? I bet if you told your parents that, they would find a way to make that happen. So what is a family goal for you? And the last one is social goals. Social goals. This isn't adding 150 friends on Facebook by the end of the year. This is something different than that. That's not real social goals. You need something more specific. My specific social goal this year is I want to add one close friend to my kind of friend network. I have a very close-knit friend network that's pretty small. Most of my good friends are on the West Coast because that's originally where I'm from, and so I have long-distance relationships with them. But I decided I need to add one more person to kind of my close-knit friend group here. So that's my social goal this year. And I'm very specific. It's attainable. It's measurable. I can do all those things around will I have that one extra. So if you don't like goals, who here likes video games? Video games? Good. Don't think of them as goals. Think of them as epic quests. Quests to do whatever it is, right? If you're playing World of Warcraft, you go on quests and you have to go do all these cool things and kill all these guys and all that. Think of your goals as quests. Write them all down, mark them off. I'm reading this great book called Level Up Your Life right now, and it's all about playing your life like a video game where you write down what's your cool quest and you just accomplish those and you're just leveling up just like your character is in the video game. So if you don't like the word goals, use the word quest. So what are some things, some key areas to attaining your goals? First is you need some clarity around what your goals are. Like I said, they need to be very specific. You need to be very clear about what they are. The other one is consistency. If you want to accomplish a goal, you have to be consistent in it. I talked about doing 100 push-ups. To do 100 push-ups, I consistently need to do push-ups pretty much every day, twice a day type of thing in order to reach that goal. I can't ever get to 100 push-ups if I do 10 push-ups every other week. And then at the end of the year, I'm like, man, I still can't do 100 push-ups. Well, that's because I wasn't being consistent in working towards my goal. So whatever your goal is, you need to be consistent in working towards it. And the last one is use your community around you to help accomplish your goals. Whether that's accountability or a friend to help you, whatever it is, get some community around you to lean on to help you with your goals. Because tell you what, if you tell somebody else what your goal is and they're a good friend, they're going to help you accomplish that goal. Maybe they'll do that goal with you. Maybe your goal is, I want to go run my first 5K under 30 minutes, which is, barely over a walking pace. They're like, you know what, I've always wanted to do that too. Let's do it together. And now all of a sudden you're working together on a goal. So that's a great way to take care of all of that. So one of the next steps on your connection card on the back of that, because you already put your name and stuff on the front, one of your next steps is it says, I will. What I want you to do is put one goal that you have for yourself this year on there. One goal. It can be very specific, measurable, attainable, all of that. Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. One thing that you want to accomplish this year, I want you to write it on your connection card right now. We're going to just sit here just for a second so you can write it down. One thing. One thing you want to get done this year. All right, next up, write something good on there. I want to read them all later just to see what everybody's goals are. And no, I'm not going to share them with anybody. I just like to know where you guys are at. Number 2 on your outline. I know you've been waiting for the second fill-in this whole time, and it's a big line. You're like, what could this be? Number 2 is, this is how you become successful. And this one took me a while to figure out as an adult. Number 2 is, read the Bible and do what it says. Read the Bible and do what it says. That's how you become successful. The verse that goes with that, Joshua 1:8 says, keep this book of the law always on your lips. Meditate on it day and night so that you may be careful to do everything written in it. Then you will be prosperous and successful. There it is. If you read the Bible and do what it says, you will be prosperous and successful. There is so much good stuff in the Bible that will teach you and help you in so many ways. I kind of started thinking about what I was going to talk about here, but there was so much, I was like overwhelmed. So I kind of started flipping through Proverbs, and I'm like, what can I learn out of Proverbs really quick if I just kind of started looking through it? And I'm like, well, let's see, I can learn how to become wise. There's tons of stuff in there about wisdom and don't do this if you want to be wise, do this if you want to be wise. So if I want to become wise and gain wisdom without it hurting a lot, because if you're dumb, it's going to hurt. So if you have wisdom, it doesn't hurt as bad. So how to become wise, you can learn that in Proverbs. You can learn how to avoid adultery, which is pretty important, right? Because you don't want to end up being a cheating loser in life. So how to avoid that, how to avoid dumb mistakes. It even has simple stuff like, should you lend money to your friend? Yes or no? And tells you the answer. Stuff like that. It teaches you how to have integrity. All that is in Proverbs. It even tells you things that you may not like the answer to about, should I listen to my parents? The answer is also in Proverbs as well. I found a couple of my favorite ones that I thought were great. They're really about relationships. And so Proverbs 14 says, and this is for you ladies, it says, stay away from a foolish man. Or boy, in the case may be. So if the boy you're thinking about or looking at or with is a total fool, and you should know better, quick, get away because this is going to hurt. So get away from a foolish man. And then for guys, listen up. This is important. You're going to need to know this. Proverbs 21 says, it is better to live in the desert than with a quarrelsome wife. If your girl's always like on you, move to the desert immediately. Just go now. Pack up your stuff, be like, I'm out, and just go to the desert. That's the kind of wisdom you can learn from Proverbs. It's all in there, so just read the Bible and do what it says. James 1:22 says this, it says, obey the word of God. If you hear only and do not act, you are only fooling yourself. If you hear and read only and do not act, you are only fooling yourself. So, yes, you can read the Bible every day, but if you don't do what it says, it's not going to help you. You got to do what it says. So, your second next step that's on your connection card tonight says read the Bible daily. I'm going to try to read the Bible daily. And maybe you need to cross out daily and write, 5 times a week or 3 times a week or once a week if you're just starting out. Whatever it is you feel you can do. What is your goal that you feel you can accomplish with your Bible reading? What is it that you think you can do? That can be your next step. The last next step on there is a prayer to become a Christ follower. If you don't have Jesus in your life, all of this reading the Bible and do what it says is going to be very difficult for you. So you need to get that right first. And if you want to do that tonight, when I get ready to pray, you can just bow your head and pray with me and just listen to the words I say and pray that to yourself and ask God into your heart. And He can change that, because if you feel like you're keep doing the same old thing and you're tired of the same old results, this is a great way to change your life. to get different results. So with that, that is how you're going to become successful. You're going to set goals that are good, measurable, attainable, timely, all of that. And then you're going to read the Bible and do what it says. So I'm going to go ahead and ask you guys to bow your heads, and we will close this up in prayer. God, thank you for tonight that we can come here and honestly talk about how to be successful in life. God, I realize that these students just have so much ahead of them, and maybe they're not sure what direction they're going tonight. But God, I know that you can put that in their heart, God, and give them the wisdom that they need. God, they need to get into your word and read your word and act on what it says so they can have that wisdom to do the right thing, do what the Bible says, set goals that are attainable and measurable. God, let them have successful, prosperous lives, God, if they just follow these two simple principles. Let them just prosper in what you're doing. And God, if there's some people here tonight that don't know you and don't have you in their heart, God, I ask that you come into their heart tonight, God, because they've made the decision that they can't do it on their own, and they need you to be the Lord of their life. God, they know that you died for their sins, and they need you as the Lord of their life. And God, if there's any students here tonight that have made that decision, God, I'm just so thankful that they were able to make that brave decision tonight. God, thank you for this time and this great, great youth group. In your name we pray. And everybody said, amen.